name's Dan, also known as Hydrain, and I'm here today with the very first video for Epic TCG. Today I'm going to bring you a deck profile of Domain Monarchs. I know, right? Everyone's probably sick of this by now, but we'll just get started. Right, we've got 3 Ether. In my opinion, probably the best big Monarch in the deck. 3 Erebus. So a lot of people running this at 2. I think 3 is necessary, to be quite honest. It helps keep the level, it keeps the numbers up for the big Monarchs to double tributes. Yeah, the ability is alright. I don't think it's as good as Ether. This is probably better first turn, to be quite honest, in my opinion, because it gives your opponent loses a card from their hands before they've even had a chance to play. One Mega Caius again. I like playing the Mega Caius. It's probably my favourite of the Mega Monarchs, and it's nice to have the double banish when you tribute summon Eidos. 2 Majesty's Fiend, in my opinion, the best non-Monarch in the deck. Your opponent spends 5-6 cards sometimes trying to get round this. I mean, you summon this, and it's sometimes pretty much game, especially if you've got March and the Monarchs on the field, and 1 Karaz. I've seen a lot of people play this at 3, or 2 or 3. I don't think it's really necessary. I think it's okay at 1 in a Domain build. I hate drawing this card. This is probably the reason why I run it at 1. Because if you draw into it, I've got a combo with Ether, it ends up being +5, and it's just kind of, if I draw into it, it's not any good. I mean, you could say that if I run 2, it would negate the fact, it would, but anyway, that's it for the big monsters. Next up, we've got just the standards 3 Idea and 3 Eidos. So a lot of people run this at 2 as well, so they don't draw into it. I think it's better at 3. I like the utility of having that safety net that if I draw 1, I've still got 2. Yeah, it's a pain in the arse if I draw 2 and I've only got 1, but other than that, the graveyard ability is nice as well. I mean, it lets you double tribute, but it's alright. Okay, next up we've got spells, and these are pretty just standard to be honest. From Monarch, 3 Pantheism, 3 Tenacity, 3 Stormforth, 3 Domain. Obviously, Domain Monarch names the deck. Can't run it without running 3. I like running 3 of these because it's by the end of my search with Pantheism. I like to. I mean, I'll search this first. I mean, if you've got the search with Pantheism, you always want to search Tenacities, always, because it mills the deck quicker, so you can draw into the cards you need faster, and it gives you a bit of a dead thing in the graveyard for Prime. In my opinion, this is probably the best spell card in the deck. Stormforth. It gets around a lot, but obviously because it doesn't target, monster effects can't be activated in response to if they say they're targeting, which is nice. And obviously 3 Domain. Domain's Domain. I use the ability of this to level down my big Monarchs by 2 quite a lot. Like I said, I've got a combo with Ether and Karaz that I'll show you in a later video. I've got a combo video going for the next couple of days. It'll be a Dev Pro video. So yeah, that's it for the generic Monarch spells. Next I've got 1 Return. Yeah, Return's good. I wouldn't want to run it any more than 1. I've tried running 2, 3, but it just seems to be that I'll be drawing this over cards I'd need to get these effects off, if that makes any sense. So if I'm running 3, I'd have to drop something else, or 2 or 3 hours to drop something else, which could stop me from drawing an idea or something else that I need to, it's nice to have anyway. Adds a little bit of consistency. MVP spell card deck, Frost Blast and Monarchs. I only run 1 of these, even though I said it's the MVP. Second mill, I'll always mill this. I mean, obviously the first effect, you mill Pantheism and Prime. I mean, why would you not? Get the search off with Pantheism, Prime's in there to set up for a bit of defense or a tribute if you need it. But next turn, if I've got if I tribute summon and I've got the effect again, I will always mill this. Always. It's nice just to have it in the graveyard, because obviously if it's in the graveyard, I don't have to have a tribute summon monster on the field to be able to use the effects. I can just banish this and banish another Monarch spell or trap card, and it's easy to get back anyway, because obviously I've got idea, run 3 costs of idea, and they let you add it back. So it's a good card. Next up for the non-Monarch spells, I've got 2 Twin Twisters. I like to run this in the main deck. I mean, I found running it in the side deck just wasn't working. I play a lot of other Monarch decks and a few Pendulums and other just random rogue decks at my locals, and this works out really well. I mean, the discard ability is good. I can discard idea to get something back from banished. I can discard Pantheism. You know, I can discard Prime. I can discard Erebus to add something back from my grave. You know, it's just an all-round good card. I think I might bump this up to 3 at some point. Next up, we've got 1 Rotor. Yeah, obviously horrible platinum. It basically just means I'm running 4 idea. You know, it's just idea's the only searchable target for it. I mean, I've got some other builds of Monarchs going up in the next couple of weeks. You know, there's that will utilise this more, but it's Rotor. 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is good. I mean, you send Erebus. You know, you can send idea to get something back. But what I usually do is I usually send Erebus and then add back, say, Majesty's Fiend if I've carded over it or something like that during my next turn, just to set up a bit of, set up some stuff. And then for the last spell card is 1 Upstart Goblin. I don't mind running Upstart Goblin, to be quite honest. This deck isn't really built around FTK or OTK. It's built around stun, in my opinion, so I don't mind giving my opponent 1,000 life points just to get a little bit more card advantage, but you know, everyone knows what Upstart does. Right, okay, next up we've got Traps. 1 Escalation. I know a lot of people don't run this, but I've got a pretty nasty combo with this when it comes with Stormforth and Majesty's Fiend during my opponent's turn. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you set this, set Stormforth, wait till your opponent to summon something, obviously depending on what it is. Activate this, activate Stormforth, and then tribute their monster for one of yours. It can either be an Ether, but usually I try to aim for a Majesty's Fiend, because obviously I've got my board set up. I've had all my effects activate during my turn, and I'm pretty much set up. And as soon as you drop that Majesty's Fiend, some decks just can't deal with it, and they spend 4 or 5 cards sometimes trying to get rid of it. And if they can't, then it's pretty much game. 2 Prime Monarch. Prime Monarch's good. I mean, I would always mill this first for the very first effect I would get from mill, along with Pantheism. But I like to run 2 because sometimes I get to the point where I would deck out, just keep milling or whatever. So I like to have 1 in hand so I can set it, just so I can spin 2 from a graveyard back to my deck and then draw an extra 1. Stops me milling out and lets me reuse my primes, reuse my Pantheisms, reuse my tenacities, my Stormforce. And it's also nice to have in the grave so you can tribute summon it. But I don't really use that effect too much. It's more the banishment effect I like to use, because then I can add stuff back with idea, And then last but not least, I've got 1 Bottomless and 1 Solemn Warning. I mean, Solemn Warning's Solemn Warning. The card's been out for years. It's probably one of the best trap cards in the game. Solemn Warning. I don't mind paying the 2,000 life points. It's it stops pendulums. It stops pretty much anything. So I don't mind running it at 1. And then Bottomless is here literally for pendulums pretty much, and for the old Dark Destroyers. It's all right. I mean, I would prefer to run 2 warnings, but who wouldn't? And it is nice that that as soon as, say, someone, if I'm playing the mirror match, they summon their Ether, you just Bottomless it, or summon their Erebus, just Bottomless it. Or when you're playing a pendulum build and someone Pendulum's 5, like, I don't know why you would do that if someone's got set cards, but I've known people to do it before. Pendulum 5, you spend their entire hand, all their extra decks, and you just bottom the lot of it in it, and they basically lose. It's a good card, And that's it. That's my deck profile for the main Monarchs. Thank you for watching. I'll be up in the next couple of days with the combo video, like I said. Going to be uploading hopefully twice weekly, but it should be every Wednesday. I'll be uploading something. I'm going to spend this month going through a couple of domain, a couple of Monarch builds. I've got a few, which are different, which I don't see a lot of people playing. But yeah, stick around.